Hello, this is Diane with Diane's BlueHeartsAndButterflies.com, and I am bringing to you another card. I was looking for some ideas of ways to use some of the new products in the annual catalog, and this paper came from the Hues of Happiness designer series paper. I forgot to bring the rest of it over here, but there are different colors that it comes in. In fact, I made another one like this, and I happened to use a retired product that I had, which was the Butterfly Beauty Thinlits, and it had the detailed dies that I could do in the white, and then there is a kind of a little bit more full, so this is the detailed one, and then there's a more full one in the background that I did the vellum. But after thinking about it, there is still the Butterfly Brilliant stamp set and the Brilliant Wings dies that are still available in the current catalog, which is 22-23. There are some detailed dies for the butterflies, as well as this one that would actually cut out the background as a solid background. Now what you could do is cut your vellum with this as the solid background, and then you would cut these detailed ones out of the white. You could do that. Now one thing I do recommend is that you use the adhesive sheets on the back of the white, or whatever color you do these in, to put this on the back of that, so that when it comes time to adhere these to the vellum, you can peel that backing off, because this is basically two-way glue, or two-sided tape, but it has backing on both sides. So you peel it off, put it on your solid piece of the white, or whatever you want this color to be. Then you die cut the butterfly out. The other thing is, these are detailed dies, and sometimes things get stuck in there. So I have been using this trick for a long time, in that I keep wax paper in my craft studio, so that when I'm cutting those intricate dies, I can just cut a piece of this to fit it. And what I do is I take the white cardstock that has the adhesive on the back side of it, and then I put, I haven't gotten this one off yet, and then I put the wax paper down, and then I put this, and then I run it through the cut and emboss machine. And when it comes time to getting this to release, that wax paper helps it to release, because it's providing a barrier between the die and the cardstock, so it'll peel out better, and then you don't have to fuss with it too much. Another thing with the detailed dies that you would want to have on hand that makes it a little bit easier is the die brush attachment and the kind of foam piece that comes with it. I happen to put mine inside of the old wood boxes, but these, we don't sell the clear boxes anymore that fit this, but you could keep this inside of a plastic bag or whatever you want. This die brush attachment actually fits on this end of the take your pick tool in the place of this. You just unscrew your putty end and you put that die brush attachment on there, and it helps to cut out those detailed dies. So that's some tips there. And the die, or the stamps, can make these pretty butterflies. You just stamp it and color it, and then these ones here will actually die cut those shapes. And I just keep mine all together because I use them together. And the other thing, I did use, again, another retired, this was a celebration one, I don't remember which year, but I fell in love with the words on here, and I wanted this to be kind of an upbeat card that I could send to a friend, whether it's their birthday or just a regular day, So I am using the Hope Your Day is Fantabulistic, Fabulous and Fantastic all in one. There are some wonderful sentiment stamps in the catalogs, and you can use what you have or buy something new. I am using also these new glossy dots assortment. It has, I believe this is Gorgeous Grape, Melon Mambo, that's I think Daffodil Delight, and I think that's Balmy Blue. And I used them in to make the body kind of, if you have some black or some other colors that you want to use, you can use those. And the other thing, if you want to, you could stamp a butterfly on the inside. I think on the one that I'm going to do today, I'm actually going to use one of my cutouts and a week of Stella Pen. I'll show you that when we get to that. Some other things that you could do, I basically placed some white Tombow multi-purpose craft glue on strategic places on the back of the vellum to stick them down, but I almost wish that I had used glue dots or even some mini dimensionals that I cut down to kind of raise this up and give kind of a more floating image. I would be a little bit cautious though, because these are delicate edges on some of these butterflies, and they could actually end up catching on the envelope. So when I did the kits for my class, I did use the old retired set that I have. I did go ahead and place the adhesive sheets on the back of the white, and then I'm going to stick those together. And a lady at the class, the local class I had here, she actually wanted to, the piece that she had another design on the backside that she liked better than the flowers, because it was just a little too busy for her. This one doesn't particularly have that, but just check to make sure on your papers. If you don't like the front, you may like the back. And the Stampin' Up! Has some really great papers to choose from. So I do put my dimensions on my blog, so if you don't catch them here, you can go check that out, as well as other projects that I have made. This is a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of cardstock. This one is in Gorgeous Grape, and then I scored this in Landscape at 5 1/2 to create the base. And you just use your bone folder to get a good crease. For that. Now on this one I used the Sweet Sorbet, which is a new 22-23 in color, and on this one I used the Orchid Oasis, which is also a new in color, to do those. There is this designer series piece of paper is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. It creates a very small border around the outside. This white piece of cardstock is 4 by 5 1/4, which is kind of the standard size that most people use to put a white piece of paper on the inside. So you could either stamp on that, write on that, whatever you place your sentiments, whatever on that. And so this one I'm going to go ahead and just adhere to the base. Got off on the adhesive, so I just fold that back over. I kind of use the Seal Plus most of the time because I like that it has kind of cut slits in it, so it makes it easier to tear. When I'm done gluing, I can just kind of break it off easier. And so this one we're going to adhere. The flowers, sometimes that they look like they have a direction to them, so make sure that you look at it before you glue it down to make sure it's going the direction you want it to go. Now, the piece of paper that the piece of cardstock that I used to cut out this, of course, this is for the old thing, the old dies, is a 4 by 5 1/4 piece, and then I used the vellum cardstock the same way, the 4 by 5 1/4, and then I just again, I placed the vellum and the white cardstock down. I used a piece of wax paper that's cut to fit that over that, and then I put the die on top and ran it through the regular sandwich on the in the cut and emboss machine. Now, most of the little pieces came out. Some of them I did use the die brush, and some of them look like they're still stuck there, but it's probably being held in because of the adhesive strip or the adhesive paper. Now, if you look closely, the back of the adhesive sheets from Stampin' Up, they have these cut slits in them, so it makes it easier to find a piece to be able to tear that off. I can see that there's one right in here, and so when I pull that backing, it'll start peeling away from that white piece. And just be very careful with your delicate detailed dies so that you don't tear off any little pieces. But when you tear the adhesive off, most of the time those little bitty pieces that are still hanging on will come off. There may be a few stubborn pieces, but you can always take your pick tool, and it comes with a piercing tool attachment as well, and you can just poke those kind of out. And so that side's off. So now take the other side and pull it back to peel it off of that delicate die cut piece. And there's still a few little pieces sticking on. So I'm going to poke those out. Making sure my little pieces didn't get twisted. And making sure that I got all the adhesive sheet off. So then I found that it's easier to put the delicate one onto the vellum, at least with these retired dies. It's easier to do that than it is to put the vellum onto this. So I kind of lined up the edges, the cut edges where they are supposed to be. And then just move up to the next section, the next butterfly, just kind of making adjustments where you might need to. One last one here. Just want to make sure that those pieces line up. Now, one thing about gluing vellum onto cardstock or designer series paper or something is you have to hide the adhesive, whether it's a glue dot or glue or whatever, kind of strategically where it's not going to be noticed. There is another thing that you could do. I didn't do it on this one, but you could take your silicone craft sheet and put a little dollop of the white craft glue onto that, and then use a part of the Stampin' Sponge and be able to just put that all over lightly, and it gives it doesn't show through so much. But I wanted to try this one by adding some glue dots just strategically where I wanted them to be held, to kind of give it a little more dimension. So I'm going to go for like the body of the butterfly, some of the outside edges. Now, glue dots, you can take and roll those up and make them fit as well. So on some of these that are a little bit thinner, I just kind of roll it up and place it in there. And I'll do the same thing with some of the outside edges, because I don't want them to catch and tear as I'm putting them in the envelope. And it might not matter too much with the busier, more colorful papers. They may not notice the glue dot through the vellum as much. Just gonna put that one up here. I normally try to keep my videos so they're not quite so long. I hope that you will like the videos that you enjoy watching, that you'll share them with people that might be interested in seeing them. And if you'd like to help my channel grow, you could subscribe and then click the bell icon, and you'll be notified when I upload another video to be able to see those. All of my videos are linked to blog posts so that you can see other projects that I made for that particular month or class. That's how I kind of expanded and tried using this for my business, because I didn't used to have videos and blogs and all that stuff. For a long time it was just a newsletter and local people, and that's all that I felt that I could do at the time. But of course COVID kind of made all of us stretch a little bit, and so I learned how to do the videos, and I'm still very basic at it. And I also started writing a blog. Usually it's just one post a month, because I also have a full-time job out in the world that I pay most of my bills with. I always say I'm my best customer when it comes to stepping up sales. I do a lot of buying of the products myself, and that's a very good reason to kind of join sometimes. Is if you're spending the money anyway, then you might as well become a demonstrator, and you could be able to get a discount on the products, be able to get early bird type things on sales. You could that are coming out, promotions that are coming out, because we usually get a pre-order of things, and we get to see the catalogs before everybody else and all that stuff. So it's some great benefits. They also, during certain times of the year, there's certain promotions for joining. Right now, July and August, well, not right now, but in July and August, with the new catalog, that's mini catalog that's coming up, July to December 2022, and during July and August of 2022 with the celebration, you're actually getting some extra things by joining up then. You don't get just the normal stuff, you get some extra freebies. So also, if you did want to, you could, let me get some, let's see what I can do. If you wanted to, you could also get some of these. These are the end colors that came out in the new catalog. And if you wanted to, you could maybe put some twine or a ribbon. This particular ribbon, this is the Orchid Oasis ribbon that's come out with the end colors. I was going to show it to you. It's a small ribbon, but it's kind of got a little glamour going on with sparkles in it. And I think I'm going to make a bow to kind of go on this card. So I just take and make a loop, and then I usually fold it backwards with my finger back there, and I pull this across to the front, hold it underneath my thumb, and then I bend, kind of make a little bend, and I put that through where my finger is and just pull it through. Then I can adjust as I need to, pulling and getting things where I want them. This loop's a little bit big for me. And then you can just take your snips, you can trim it off where you want. Some people tie their ribbon while it's on the roll, and some don't. But I want to give you some options. So this one I used the glue dots so I could kind of hold it up again on the top, give it a little more flow and movement. And then I just stick those places down, and then it's kind of floating a little bit. And then I can take another glue dot and put it on the back of the ribbon. If it's too wide, again, you can take and roll that up so that it goes behind the ribbon knot and it won't be seen. And you can add that wherever you want it. And I think I just thinking I wanted it right in there, but I think I'm gonna put it kind of right over where these two meet. And then on the inside, I'm gonna take the Gorgeous Grape ink and my little saying. Now this is a red rubber stamp. It does have foam, so it can act as its own cushion. And again, these are the Stampin' Up! Sells dye inks. It has a foam, kind of a foam type pad, so you don't have to push very much to get ink on this raised part that you want to stamp. You don't want to push into the ink because then it gets down in between and gets on the edges so that you end up with some halos and stuff that you're gonna have to deal with. You're just gonna want to kind of tap across the surface and get that ink just covering the words that are raised. And then you're going to want to, I just kind of eyeball mine and add that here. And I like these blocks by Stampin' Up! Because they have little finger holds for me to hold. And I usually use my two pinky fingers as my stabilizer, and I figure out where I want it, and then you just hold it there. You don't want to rock around. Hold it there and let that dye soak into the paper, and you have a really pretty good image once you do that. So that's some tips on using the ink. And then if I wanted to, I could also use some of these stamps, like I said, to stamp the butterflies. But I had done some previously with stamping them onto cardstock. This one I actually stamped it onto shimmery white cardstock, and so there's already kind of a little bit of a shimmer in there, but I want to just give them a little bit of movement, so I'm using my bone folder to kind of give the wings a little bit of movement. And then I use my fingernail to create that fold where the body is, and I know that it's going to be laying more flat on the inside. But if you also wanted to add a little bit more bling to it, you could come in with the Wink of Stella glitter brush, and you could add some more of the glittery stuff to it. And I'm going to add some over here too. These things tend to last quite a while unless you're using them all the time. And if it has kind of run out, don't throw it away yet. Try some 70% or 90% rubbing alcohol. This thing comes, you unscrew this barrel part, and then there's a little black ring or stopper right in here. You'll pull that out, and then you could pour some of that alcohol in here, and it'll mix with some of the glitter that's still in here, and you just shake it up. There's kind of a little ball in there that helps mix things up. And then when you need some more, you just push this barrel part, and then it flows down. I think it's up here. But don't do it too much, because then you end up with a whole bunch coming out at once. But this is what I wanted to add to the inside of my card. So I'm just going to put some right there in the center of the adhesive. You might want to use glue dots or something, but I'm going to add that, and then I'm going to put this on the inside of the card. And it's just a little friendship card. You can make these for a birthday card. You could add a little label on the front with some words dealing with birthdays, or just thinking of you, or maybe you wanted this to be as a bridal card or something like that. You could use it for so many different things. And you don't have to use butterflies. You could find any other of the detailed dies and use those on here. And then this has a border around it, and you stick that down, and then you kind of have this really pretty card to be able to share. And I love sharing what I enjoy, and that is paper crafting. I am inspired by so many other people and things that I find on Pinterest and everything, and I appreciate what is shared from all of those that do share. And if you would like to purchase any of the products that I use or look at other things, please don't hesitate to go to my blog at www.dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com. I do have a way for you to shop through me, as well as if you're interested in sharing something with me, you can contact me, and I can try to help you with whatever it is, and you'll help my channel to grow again, if, like I said, if you'll like things and subscribe and share and everything. So I would love to continue to share with everyone, and hope that you will check out the blog and other videos that I make. Thank you very much.